So Mike is going to discuss what this is. Leslie couldn't be here today. She had to be at school.
Okay. Let's see, where do I start? So last year, I'll tell the whole story, and I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but I'm telling the story for a reason. Last year, at some point, my youngest son, who is extremely intelligent, very smart, comes home and he says, "Dad, I want to be a welder." I hit the floor because he is my smartest child. And what it made me realize was the fact that these kids in high school, they're seeing guys graduate from high school that go on to be welders. And within 6 months of starting to work, they got new trucks, they got boats, they got all this stuff. They're making good money. Again, absolutely no offense to the people that do that. But what it made me realize is we're not exposing these kids to other things. You know, a lot of people that live here, parents are welders, you know, they see it, they make good money. They don't take into account that they work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, things like that. So the exposure to things that I see on a daily basis with consultants, you know, our consulting firms are constantly looking for engineers. They're constantly looking for coastal scientists, things like that. I had the opportunity to go into the Smith's class last year, and they were working on research papers. I showed them some of the research that we do. We were just wrapping up a big project on the West End where we had to do a research paper, you know, to prove or disprove what we were looking at doing. So I went over that with them, and in that discussion, talked to them about being engineers, being coastal scientists, this, that, and other. And it really, it got the kids asking questions. You know, what type of engineers? What is this? What is this? So we invited them, as well as a group from Patterson High School, over to our office, and we did another presentation. Since then, we have reached out to, who was it, out of Franklin?
LSU Sea Grant.
We reached out to Sea Grant. There's stuff out there for these kids, you know, to get them immersed in doing studies in the field, in the swamp, in the coast. We just got to get our school system to move towards that. I mean, I have opened myself up to do whatever I can to help to get these kids to see this kind of stuff. And it does. It's, you know, take myself, for instance. I knew what I wanted to do when I was in high school, but I really wish I would have been exposed more to the engineering side of things. Because it may have been one of those things where, oh no, that's what I want to do, not what I was thinking about previous. So just knowing that these kids need exposure to things outside of what they see in current classrooms. And there's so many opportunities here. I mean, we talk constantly about the linear and the fact that everything you need is here. People come here to study our area. So why are we taking our kids and bringing them somewhere else to go study something different when there's a need here for these kids to become engineers, to become coastal scientists, things like that. So yeah, that's kind of where we've headed with that.
So Mike, thank you, because you did include educators in the system, and in your planning meetings, you had people from the central office there. And Dr. Fagenbush did send her regrets that she couldn't be here today, because they are a part of this. They do get, you know, the updates
Right.
and everything.
And that's, you know, I had ideas, but I work for the levy district. I'm not, you know, so I had to kind of turn that over to them and say, hey, what can y'all do? I'm here to help. You know, we have resources. I can reach out to people at CPRA, USGS. We have people that we know that can come in and help present this stuff to the kids. So we're working on it. We're working on it.
We continue to explore a residential high school, which is different than what Mr. Bricata talked about, because he talked about how we take care of our own kids. This is an economic diversification tool, and it has great merit. And, you know, we may need some letters of support in trying to get the legislation to accommodate that. So It's still on the table. Mr. Swiber was chairing it. He took a recess from that, but now he's back. He's in Washington today, so.
Monica, did he mention anything to you? He and I were both at the Workboat Show, and there was a representative from NARAD who was there, and there was some conversation about maritime high schools and that type of thing. And I introduced them, and they were supposed to get together.
Okay.
And I don't know if that has happened, but there may be some assistance through NARAD.
That would be wonderful. Thank you, and you'll have to tell me what those letters stand for.
I'm sorry, it's with the U.S. Department of Transportation, it's the Maritime Administration.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Because it's an economic driver. It really is. Okay.
We went to a meeting about wellness and for Morgan City, Berwick. And we decided a way to start that off would be to do a quality of life survey. So we did do the quality of life survey, and it is on our webpage. If you go to stmaryxl.com, you can read the results for St. Mary Parish. Each individual entity, municipality, has gotten its own results. So Morgan City got its results, Berwick got its results. I think Baldwin, we really
Hospital
separated
Service
all of the
District got
hospitals.
their results.
Right. So you can all go on to the webpage, and you can look under projects, and you can see the results of the survey. It's very interesting. We hope to use this for setting leadership priorities and grant writing. And we also wanted to stop right here and just see if maybe this has been used in any way in Berwick. Have y'all got to look at it?
I've looked at it. I found it very interesting. We didn't have a whole lot of participation. I think it was only 61 people that participated in it. And the level of education and money kind of stood out. You know, they're the ones that are filling these things out. And I don't know about the city of Morgan City, how theirs, but I was really disappointed we only had 61 people that participated in it. I think it was offered to everybody.
It was different. The first time we ran it in 2018, we only did Morgan City and Berwick because that was the follow-up from ULI. So we ran it again in the Hospital Service District meeting on wellness. They asked that it be rolled out to the entire parish because, we are St. Mary XL, and, there's nothing that says, everything just cuts at a certain line. It really doesn't. So we received over 500 total parish-wide, with Morgan City, of course, being the bigger. Charlie, and one of the things people ask us, well, what does it say? It doesn't say anything to us. It's not for us to say, other than in grant writing, this is what people are saying. But it's up for each leadership entity to determine how it helps inform you and how you manage and operate your town, municipality, whatever.
Overwhelming opinion from all 61 people was that a wellness center was be a good thing.
See, that's how Berwick is responding. But how was Morgan City? Did y'all get any benefit at looking at it?
I mean, I'm using it currently, and we have about 5 grant applications that will be submitted within the next couple months. So we're definitely using it. Some of the things we already had, a little bit of indication that was how the public felt, but it helps to have hard data that say, different people responded. We did have a relatively good response, and the mayor, Charlie, and I all met and looked over it in detail, saw the written responses, everything, just to kind of gauge where we need to put our efforts for future projects. And
I want to thank Beth for partnering with us to get that out. She put it out Facebook, and I think we did some follow-up. So it went out in the chamber blast, but it also went out as a Facebook post, which would have said maybe that's just anyone who doesn't belong to the chamber. But chamber people are usually, ones that have property taxes and would have had strong feelings. One of the things that was so interesting, I'll just mention from the first one, that was in 18, we had to redact. We had to take our black marker and kind of because they personalized it a lot. They would call people out, and it's like, This time, we didn't have to do that one time, so we were not targeting. It really was focused on solutions. I found it very solution-based. People were putting their ideas. So if you have time, check it out. Out on Chamber, did y'all have any comments, Beth, or because y'all were great in helping us get it?
I mean, we didn't really have feedback as far as people participating in it. We can see the click rate, of course, on our information from Constant Contact. And I can say that that was a higher click rate than we normally have for links that are shared in the blast. We did share it for probably about 4 weeks, I think, total.
Mhm.
And I think most of the answers, people responding to the survey, were probably through the blast and not through social media, just because it got more, it went to people who have businesses in the area. I did have participation through the Facebook page too, but there was more of a response on the Facebook for blast.
So take your time, check it out, read it, see what it says to you. If you need it disaggregated in a different way, I don't see any more than the hospital service district wanting everybody from Calumet to Amelia, and then the municipality specific to your own, but you can also see how yours compares to the total parish. So that might be of interest to some of us. And like you said, the comments are really interesting too.
Well, the queue, these are just things that.
We don't forget.
We don't forget. So we've had these in our queue since we started meeting, I think, some of them. But.
They make the agenda too.
Right, and the Wellness Center, of course, we spoke about that in 2017, 2018. Restaurant on the Lake, I'm not going to speak to that. Y'all deal, I don't know, we're going to get to y'all, the city, y'all can talk about that.
If you wish.
If you want to. Completion of
have to.
hiking, biking trails. We can talk about that. But I've been walking on mine, even though it's not done yet, behind my house, in the mud, snow, sleet, and ice. Business support. Right, we had, that was our grant. And then resurfacing of Highway 182, y'all can talk about that when we get to your specific parts.
Calvin, what was the business support? Was it?
That was the USDA grant.
We had our USDA grant, and that's
okay.
still
All right, all
online.
right.
And we're still working with that. And then Evan's not here with resilience.
Yes, he is.
Oh, wait, Evan is here. Oh, wait, Evan did walk in. I'm sorry, Evan. Evan, you're coming up.
He's in business.
Evan,
When you go to Arkansas,
I've been
forget
photoshopping.
about you real fast.
I've been photoshopping you everywhere, so I was seeing a Photoshop version. No.
I mean, it's siblings in with the wall, you probably know.
There you go.
He's coming up, so you're going to get to speak a little bit. So we wanted to just, I don't know if you want to go on the Wellness Center, you wanted
No,
to put that
no,
up?
that's in
Okay.
the queue, that's all in the queue.
All right, so the grant writing, we did,
Let's go to Little Meadows, I'm sorry. Oh, no, grant writing, sorry.
right, I just wanted to, we'll go back, when we get down to the bottom, we'll have our individual reports, but we were funded by the H&B Young Foundation, and we funded a grant for, same area, for the Morgan City Archives. So that grant has been submitted already and completed. Greg was very helpful with that. And we're going to get to Greg when we go down to the individual, because I want you to talk a little bit about your apps too when we get there. Okay, talk about that too. But I wanted to get to Laura, because Laura's here, I know she has to leave. She is here representing her Senator, our newly elected Senator Robert Allen, her boss. So.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, obviously, I'm not Robert. He is in DC, but I wanted to they asked me to give you an update of what his vision is for the next 4 years. And so I put in a couple of bullet points. I'm going to paraphrase and be short, guys. So basically, he wants to improve the quality of life, not only for constituents or residents in SD 21. And for those that aren't familiar, SD 21 is my Senate district. We have 6 parishes. St. Mary is the only whole parish that we have within the district. The rest are just partial. Iberia, Terrebonne, Lafourche, St. Martin, Assumption. And so We just want to improve our quality of life, not only for residents, but for the businesses too. So in order to do that, one of his number one, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it pledges, he is concerned about insurance, as we all are. And so he's concerned about the homeowners and the flood, even though we realize flood is federal, we still have input into that. So we're looking at helping with homeowner rates, flood rates, and auto rates. Our auto rates are extremely high. And it's not just SD20, it's all of Louisiana. He's working on out-migration, trying to keep those people here in our area in South Louisiana. And we're not just talking about college students that just graduate from college and looking for a job. We're talking about older people that retire, and once they retire, we want them to stay here. We don't want them moving to Texas. We don't want them moving to Florida or to another state. So we believe that, health, quality of life, job availability, homeowners insurance, all that matters to whether you're young or old. And that's what keeps people here, so he's working on that. He wants to make sure the industry has what it needs to survive. Skilled workers, less government regulations, and make Louisiana a business-friendly state. We can do that by tax reform and trying to minimize the red tape that government seems to put on businesses to function. And so we're looking at seeing what we can do to help aid in that area. Lastly, he is a big proponent of education. And so he is a graduate of the technical college system, Central Island, and four-year college system. So he's taken business classes from here, and he's got his captain's license from here, but he also has a bachelor's from LSU in agriculture. And so he wants to immerse himself into those two systems, see what those two systems need, and combine it with the opportunities and the needs that are in SD21 so we can push that forward. The NAIR is a good part of that, trying to make sure, and I guarantee you, he will do everything he can to make sure that those facilities are here in St. Mary, not in Terrebonne Parish. His father promised that we would have it here. Rob is going to carry that forth if it's the last thing we do. we are gonna do everything we can to do that. I don't know if y'all know, but he was appointed, he asked to be on several committees, Senate committees. Those are assigned by the Senate President once you get into office. And he was assigned insurance. He was assigned natural resources. He was assigned agriculture. He is an interim member for Reverend Fisk. Reverend Fisk does the capital outlay. And he is a member of the JLCCO, which is the Joint Legislative Committee on Capital Outlay. So we still have some tentacles into the capital outlay process, which is important when it comes to money and bringing those projects down back here or back home. He believes we're in a good position to thrive and move forward, and he is mindful that he needs your input and everybody's help, and we are looking forward to having some town hall meetings to see what's on your mind and see what we can do to move this forward. He's a very energetic senator. He's ready to go, and our office is ready to move forward. So that's it, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go straight to Evan Boudreau in the back.
Yeah, so we just finished our annual work plan for 2024, basically just outlining kind of what the department's focuses are going to be this year. We have yet to really sit down with the new parish president to get what his new administration's priorities are going to be. Once that happens, we will incorporate that into our plan. Also, actually just returned from Arkansas for a business prospect, which should we secure to be the largest economic development project in the history of St. Mary Parish. Should it be secured. It's going to be a very difficult prospect to get, but we're one of 5 that have been narrowed down for a nationwide search. So that's actually pretty exciting. But in addition to that, while I was in Arkansas, I was part of the, or I'm part of the Delta Regional Executive Leadership Fellowship Program that the governor has appointed me to. And I participated with other communities within the Delta region. And we pretty much met with local governments and the Arkansas state legislators this week to really kind of see how are other communities, what are they doing? How are their initiatives happening? Lots of great information that came from that. I will say, I do think that a lot of the issues that St. Mary faces isn't unique to us or even really Louisiana. A lot of these rural communities are facing the same thing. And really coming back from that, there's a lot of takeaways that I think St. Mary, whether it be from a parish government perspective or even just as a community, that we could really implement to be stronger. And we'll be kind of doing a push on a lot of that information over the next couple of weeks. But that's it. Yeah.
Can you?
I cannot talk about the project. I had to sign an NDA.
Good try.
Evan, and this may have come up in previous, this is the first time I've ever attended, but are you familiar at all with the first solar project that Iberia Parish got?
Yeah,
1.1
we actually just finalized a big partnership with them to establish a vendor database that we're basically going to have not only just for suppliers or potential vendors for First Solar, but these are vendors and suppliers for other vendors and suppliers of First Solar. So I met with the company executive, I guess it's the executive director of the site selection team. And basically what he said was First Solar prides itself on 90% of their supply chain being domestically being within the region. So there's a strong chance that pretty much from St. Mary all through Lafayette, that's pretty much where most of their partnerships will come from. And one thing that we're trying to really push out is not just for metal fabrication, but this is landscapers, if you catering, stuff like that, anything like that, they want people to submit to be considered for a vendor. And then we're going to be following that up with vendor days and whatnot. But anyway, good question.
I mean, if people are familiar, it's a $1.1 billion project that Iberia Parish got. Do you know how long what's the timeline from sort of start to selection of something that large?
So it usually takes anywhere from 5 to 10 years. Now with First Solar's position, I will say they were in a unique spot because Iberia Parish does a very good job at investing in site development. That's something that I just feel St. Mary Parish has really lacked in, is investing in our sites to make them more business ready. And more from a parish-wide perspective. We do have select places that are competitive, but I just think we've really neglected investing in our business-ready sites, especially from an industrial perspective. So that's really what I'm hoping for, to get more money, especially with Robert now being in the state Senate. The legislature approved each region to basically receive $1 million for site improvements. In reality, that's just pathetic. That's just an embarrassment. Every other state, Mississippi invests, each community can get $8 million for site investment. I'm hoping that with Robert now in the Senate and working with Benny, we can increase that money to get back to St. Mary. Right now, we can only really qualify for about $250,000 of that. And which you really can't do any meaningful improvements with $250,000. Exactly. So it was kind of just something to placate the economic developers. But yeah.
Good question. Very good question. And on economic development, I guess Main Street, Vanessa's not here. She's at a conference, so she would talk about that. But I want to go to the mayor. I don't know if, Mayor Arthur and Colleen and Charlie is here representing the city, if y'all want to talk about what's been going on.
Well, proud to say that we got two of our councilmen here, our Mayor Pro Tem Lud Henry and Colleen Askew, our economic development person on our council. We've got several projects right now underway, grant fed. We have a street improvement with our last unimproved street. It was gravel and shell. It's now going to be cement. We got that through a grant. We're building a exhibition hall for the Brown House, and we're got the money for that, and
To build what, Janelle?
it's gonna be an exhibition room for them to exhibit their,
Okay.
they're just out of room. And I don't know if you've been to the Brown House,
Yeah.
but I would hope everybody would go by there just to look at it, because it's got a lot of things from history that you would enjoy seeing.
The exhibition hall maybe be used to get people from out of state, you know, exhibits that come in and do tours and that kind of stuff, so.
So it's going to be attached to the Brown House?
Pretty much, yes. It's next door to it, but it's going to be attached to it.
And then our drainage project in the country club, we reapplied because we got caught by COVID, and roof went off with the price of lumber and pipe and everything else that we were going to be using in the project. So we had to reapply, and they asked for more money. And I did get a call from the people that review it, and they said everything looks good. I'm just waiting on a phone call right now to tell us that we got more money. And he almost assured me that we would be getting more money, so feel good about that. Ludd, when we went into office, we didn't really have any kind of, we didn't have a Main Street project, but Ludd kind of researched and did a cultural district, and he went around checking on that, and he did. He was able to secure an area in Berwick, downtown area, that we turned into a cultural district. And with that, our economic development coordinator went crazy, and she did all kinds of things on Front Street, and just continues to do that. And I don't want to take away from them. And Lud, if you want to talk about the cultural district.
On the cultural district side, Colleen has done some work on the artwork and, you know, the bridge pillar and the stuff on the sidewalk. And so that's kind of added to it. And, you know, hopefully it'll keep growing and improving and doing things to get, you know, more art stuff going on down there.
Colleen?
I guess I just kind of want to talk about some businesses coming up. Is that okay? Talking about the art thing though, I have talked to a couple people that would like to do some sort of art walk downtown. I think that would be fun, something different that we've never done before. The Silver Nickel is now called Now and Then, and they do laser printing and they sell and all the old antiques and stuff in there, which is on First Street. The food court's on First Street. Dale and Tony Fungi just bought, what was the building originally? I know it was a hairdresser, but it's across from the food court. And they're gonna lease it out. They're dividing it into 2 areas. They're renovating it. Lease or rent. My daughter has a grand opening tomorrow for Sweet Tangerines, which is also in Dale and Tony's, one part of their other building. And then she has her photography on the other side on First Street. Southern Oaks Pharmacy just opened, which is also a drive-through, and it's very convenient. So Daily Dose, you can get your coffee there also. You can go through the drive-through. St. Stephen Church is in the middle of renovations. We have the Berwick Market. We do the pickleball and the tennis. Nautical Design is downtown also.
Is Nautical Design the one that won that award?
Yeah.
Because we have a conflict of dates.
We dropped the ball again. I think last year I mentioned the fact that Charlie, that we were going to try to get together before we laid out all the things, the events that we were going to do, so that we wouldn't conflict with each other. And I didn't call it y'all this time. And again, we started planning stuff and y'all started planning stuff. So we don't want to compete with them. We really don't. We want to support them, and they want to start doing the rhythms on the river again. And we certainly allowed, I mean, we were going to be doing something in April, but we certainly want y'all to take part and do that. And Colleen had this idea here.
Now, with that being said, we need to work together. all of us. It's not a competition. Towns should not be competing for who does the biggest thing or who does or who's doing the same thing. And so I came across this on, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Facebook page Revitalize or Die, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Anyway, they posted that picture, and the article really didn't have much to do with the picture itself, but I thought that this would be a good way to bridge the gap somehow and include Patterson, because Mayor Grogan's always wanting to do something too. I feel like it's time for us to work together and not, that was when I saw that thing on Facebook, and it was great that y'all doing all that for the whole year, but that just kind of like, it kind of, I'm just being honest, it just kind
Well-
of hit me in the back with I was like, this is legit what we do Live After 5 on every Friday in April, and now they're doing it. We can't compete with Morgan City, so we're not going to do it. But this is a good thing, and we have a long time to plan it. My wheels have been turning, thinking about tables, food, lighting, food trucks going up there maybe, whether or not you sell tickets to it. And I posted another article, there was a video on another place that did it. And it's just a good way to bring the community together. And, I mean, Franklin does it. They have like that, I can't remember, what's the name of that dinner? Yeah, it's precious, and that's a good thing that they have going on. And I thought, well, okay, well, maybe we can do this with Morgan City and Patterson and all come together.
I'd like it to be a joint thing, and
Yeah.
as a fundraiser to, my wish and want is to put lights on that bridge.
Yeah.
I really love to see lights, so it'd make it really look nice. And we could use this as a fundraiser that we do between the 3 municipalities, and the money that we raise could go towards the lighting of the bridge.
Right.
And so anyway.
So as soon as I got Rodney, I tagged all 3 of the mayors, and he mentioned it, and Rodney commented on it. I was like, okay, so what? And then somebody else commented, well, how do you do that with insurance? And I said, well, my first thought was we can ride bikes and walk over the bridge and close it. Why can't we sit down and have a dinner? I don't know the logistics. I don't know if that's a state.
I'm playing around in my head right now.
We're planning. So we're gonna make it happen, and I would love for all of y'all to be a part of it.
I'm just gonna,
One other thing, just the town mark, we still have the town mark.
Oh, I did mention that
Which
too.
goes from like March to November, I think, maybe. They take the winter breaks, but that's been pretty successful.
It is, I feel like we are also oversaturating the market idea, and I feel bad for ours because we used to have like 40 vendors, and now it's just so everywhere that they don't have the foot traffic that they used to have. And I don't know if it's because the vendors are just tired because they go to every single market that is going on at every single place. And I'm guilty of it. I do one too. But I told him, I said, I would sacrifice my market for the town to do it. Because it's so big, I can't even, I don't know. I love the Berwick market though. Like, it's really cute, and those people put their time and hearts into their trades.
seems like we had made some progress in kind of like collaborating. And then some jobs shifted and we have new people. So this really sounds like a great breakout meeting, like to get the markets scheduling and the event scheduling better.
Well, the markets are on separate Saturdays, but there's one on the first, second, third Saturday of every month.
Okay. And in a breakout meeting, like who would be the lead in that? Like to just make sure that we have the right people all together and, kind of collaborating. Is that a tourism thing? Is that a chamber thing?
But I'm not just talking about the town ones. I'm talking about the businesses that have little markets in there. Like I did for Miracle, I have my own. It's not just under the bridge.
It could be a breakout.
It's a lot of people doing it in their businesses.
Get all of it, just.
And Beth and I have talked about that before, getting together and.
What would y'all suggest how would y'all like it to be facilitated?
Well, I agree with what you're saying is that, you had Stevensville, you had your Berwick, ARP did one, there were a lot. And some of it was the same people going to each one. And it's like, oh, well, I've already seen
Well,
that, I
that's
don't
the
need to
whole-
do,
that's
I
what
don't
I'm
need to go to
saying.
another one.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, this isn't the place, but one of the ideas might be to theme each market, like, you know, this month we're gonna have green stuff, it's gonna be plants, it's gonna be flowers, it's gonna be anything relative to nursery items. One could be recycling, I love recycling.
Good.
That fits in.
Good idea.
Carrie, could you take the chair and have a meeting?
I'm happy to work with,
them.
you know, but it really, it has to come from, I don't mind sitting in any meeting, but I can't tell any one group.
No,
I give
not tell them.
recommendations,
Just let
but
'em work it out.
ultimately it's up to them, you know, to, but I see it, I mean, and I'll wait till my report, no, you know.
All right, so we were thinking that we'll just move that to a breakout. No chairperson yet, but that all needs to be worked out. That's a great thought. Okay?
The deal with the markets, though, I mean, you get.
Going into Morgan City.
Stevensville does.
Theirs is on my market day.
Stevensville's great, they got better
Yes.
turnout than all of them, I think, really, and but, I don't know, if you got a market every month, every 15, it becomes
too
a
much.
store, so if people only go, they need it, they're not gonna go every week.
But we
Every
also
month,
have
buy
stores
something.
that people are in now, the vendors are
Yeah.
in, the market and
Yeah,
the
so it's
Southern
kinda-
Chaos.
I mean,
They don't wanna move now.
Yeah,
So it's
I think
kinda,
we kind of at the end of that train really as far as the
It's
market.
wearing its-
I mean, the Christmas markets and the spring markets, I think is still getting pretty good,
yeah.
hits, but the monthly markets really doesn't go. And,
AARP's doing another one in March.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're opting out of doing spring market because it's just too busy.
I do think theming it though, kind of like Carrie was saying with like green stuff or like vegetables and
But
fruits
I
and
can't find
fresh
anybody that does
things like
vegetables and
that.
stuff. The only thing I have is, what's, Mr. Pye's name that does plants at ours?
There are some mobile fruit and vegetable
That would be
vendors.
great, like,
Great discussion. So plan on a meeting, a follow-up meeting to that.
Yeah,
And while Charlie was,
we'll put that in the queue.
yeah,
And the next time we come back,
Maybe
we'll
it'll
see
be
what the
worked
progress
out.
has been on that. Charlie, you keep going because
well,
it's your turn.
back when the deal with competition, no, we're not trying to compete with nobody. Vanessa got the job, and Vanessa hit the ground running.
Those are all things she wanted to do
Yeah,
in my office, and I was like,
Didn't want to do, and,
we gotta do it 5 times or
Yeah.
6 times if we do it out of my office.
so
I'm like,
when she first come, talked about the job, we first met, she was like, throwing out a million ideas of what she wanted to do, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. She's got, like, I can't even, she's wide open, she's ready to run, she wants to do a lot of things. So I guess when we, as far as posting and going quick.
We get an opportunity to
Upset or make anybody mad or nothing like that. She's just looking at what she wants to do, what she wants to roll with, so, and, we can look at alternating, some kind of way, like, 1 week in there, 1 week in here, or something like that. 1 year, yeah. And 1 year, either way, yeah.
okay, so it sounds
The
like everybody's
weekend.
willing to.
I'm sorry.
But I think Vanessa's main focus is she's really,
She's
herself
enthusiastic.
position, and she really is looking for ways to fundraise for Main Street, to get those Main Street grants back up, because that's the only way she can give grants, is if she has some sort of revenue source. So she's exploring those ideas, so that's a big push for a lot of her events. With all that being said, her event dates are on Facebook.
And anything else from the city?
Did y'all have something else that you wanted to update us on?
I
or-
want to thank Beth for having us at the chamber meeting on February the 21st to allow all the mayors to talk about what they got going on. So we get an opportunity to let the public, as well as the other mayors, know what each town is doing. And thank you for doing that. And thank you for being extra special and changing the date, because we're all going to be in a meeting out of town, and you were gracious enough to change.
Anything else from Morgan City, or?
Walking trail, obviously, you know where the walking trail is, we're working on the weather, going to try to put a halt to that.
But
It's still moving. As soon as God gives us a little break in rain, we'll.
Once this last piece is complete, then that will complete all of the recreational trails grants that were active, which is a big accomplishment. They've been active for a very long time, and we are still pursuing actively funding for the entire citywide bike trail to try to do it all in one big go.
And then the safe trails is still open too. I
Yes,
know
safe,
that.
safe routes to public places is still there, and TAP is still there. The last update we got was the state said around January, they thought that they would be about 60% done with the plans. So that's as much as I can get on that one.
Thank you very much, and Greedy.
I've been working with the City of Morgan City on an app. It's called Explore Morgan City. I don't know how many hits we have today, but we have one. The app can contain 12 tours. Our first tour has been Explore Morgan City, 15 downtown walking sites with QR codes. Second tour is releasing.
It's released.
It's released. It's a hidden gems driving tour of the Rig Museum, Lake End Park, Cotton Top, Sacred Heart Church, Fort Starr, the Korean Tower, a lot of places. So that's been released. Last night we had a meeting of Black community leaders. We are going to, well, it's in progress, and we were getting input on a Black community tour, Juneteenth tour it's been called. Don't really have a name yet, but we're getting there. And there's some amazing history there that we just don't know and we need to. Yeah. I have kind of started a Voices or Ghosts of Morgan City tour. I'm not sure if that's going to happen because there's talk of tours by Stephen coming in and doing something. So he's got my information. That may be the basis for his ghost tours. Bryce has suggested we do something downtown on the dock, QR code that would give sailors, boats coming into town information on hardware stores, restaurants, hotels, grocery stores. And maybe, you like that one? And maybe a restaurants tour, just a little bit about each of the restaurants in town. And I'm going to say it amazes me how many restaurants there are in town, because I've heard Franklin, their McDonald's closed or something. They've only got a couple of places over there to eat. Burger King, okay, sorry. We have got an amazing number of restaurants and fast food places in town, so I started on that. I'm also on the Historic Commission, and we met to discuss the Tesh Restaurant, which is going to be in the Gathright Building, an historic building, and they're doing some interesting things there that I'm not sure if I can say, but it's interesting. And I think they're going to start work on the inside. They've gutted the whole place. They're going to start work on the inside in the next month or so. And hope to have something open. They're saying by Christmas, but they've said 6 months, so we'll see. And it's not going to be Asian, and it's not going to be spaghetti. It's going to be local seafood, and some of it with a Thai twist, because Jason was born in Taiwan.
This is the old Latin Corner building.
This is the old Latin Corner building. So, I'm going to say something.
I want to say one thing.
Yes.
What you brought up about the sailing community or the boating community. Unless you think about it and you look, we don't realize how many people come through here and park at those docks and spend time here, and having something for them to look and go, oh, look at all these hardware stores, look at all these restaurants, laundromats, this, that, and I think that would be huge.
I made a
Because
list.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
traffic that comes through here.
And speaking of traffic, 2 weeks ago, I was walking up the lake, and at the lake, there were two campers from Illinois, one from Washington State, one from Wisconsin, 2 from Michigan, Nova Scotia, Ontario, 2 from Texas, Minnesota, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Montana, at the lake, just in the little lake part of it. And some of these people come down here every single year for 3 months. Some have moved into our community from Montana and northern states, because we stop and talk to them.
There's a place for another QR code, let all the campers know what's going
Yep.
on.
There you go.
You know, there are hundreds and hundreds of motor cruisers and sailing boats that sail, you know, this past our door, which is the entry on the Atchafalaya River every year, going places, and the yachting community is pretty tight, and once the word gets out that it's a welcoming place, and there's a lot, I go down and try to visit every one of them that comes by, and I've made a count that there are literally hundreds over a year, and they all say the same thing, you know, where's the hardware store, because we need to switch. where's a bit of wire, where can I get some hydraulic work done? My upload motor needs fixing, I need some rigging, I need to go to the grocery store, I need to get some gas. And so that's what that was all about when I talked to Jerry.
We need an Uber driver.
Make it a welcoming place, make a little kiosk, welcome sailors to Morgan City, and that word will get out, and it'll draw more people up the river.
Yeah, because there's a lot of, you gotta understand, people from Kima are traveling through here to get to Florida, to get to the Bahamas, to get to the Keys, things like that. So there's a constant, you have the spring where they're heading that way, and you got the fall where they're coming back this way to go back to Texas. So they're coming right through here. And look, we have everything that they need right here. They could get anything repaired, they can get, parts, this, that, and other. It's all right here.
And I'm going to go back to the Lake End Park. These people staying here for 3 months are going on little tours, the Boudin tour, and outside of our area. We have stuff here that they could be doing. And could they be involved in Mardi Gras? Invited personally to a Mardi Gras ball?
Yeah, I mean,
Even
we
to
get
sit
some of those people
upstairs.
that come to the Welcome Center. And, they don't necessarily bring evening gowns, but.
Well, no, but you don't have to if you're sitting
Yeah,
upstairs.
absolutely. I mean, if they come to the office and they ask, we try to get them tickets to the balls, at least to view them and stuff.
Put up a tent outside of Charlie Solar's house, just throwing it out. There's some Buddha balls and some king cake, and invite them to watch a parade. I mean, they have no experience with this. So anyway, and one little secret, Tesh Restaurant, the entrance is going to be in the alleyway. Kind of like a speakeasy vibe.
Where is the alleyway?
Check it out. It's right next to
We did the restaurant.
It's actually kind of the back entrance to
Yeah.
L&H, which is a family business. And we've just sold them a building that's next to their building.
Interesting.
And on that building, I want to congratulate Kelly and Eric for the work that y'all did remodeling
Oh,
the
yes,
outside
yes.
of it.
Yeah, it's so great.
It made a big difference.
It's a fun idea, but
Yes,
I'm
it
glad
was.
someone in the community is going to do something.
They are.
Pass it on.
It's going to be neat.
And the owners actually moved back from California.
Yes, they
to
have.
open this business here.
And someone has moved into the temple, a man named John Williams from Florida. He's putting in walls and doing things. His
And he's a
bedroom's
diver.
upstairs, and he's a diver.
Yeah.
He's making
Oh,
his
he's crazy?
neat. Yes.
That's a great building.
He knows what I'm talking about.
The archives, I
That's a
just had
joke.
ideas
Is that
because
all?
I worked with the Brown House. They have scanned every item that they have in. They have digitized it, put the description of it on computer, and I did some of this for them for a few weeks, and I think that needs to happen at the archives, and that's what Monica and Catherine and I were talking about with regard to the archives and getting scanners, computers, stuff, so that
Personnel.
some of us can go in there and make something happen.
Could you get some students?
We could,
Some internship?
we could.
Why not bring in some students? You got,
The grant that they just submitted will have someone qualified to come down and basically give us a plan and the correct techniques that we need to use to preserve these documents and scan them, because a lot of it is very, very old. It can't necessarily be put through a traditional scanner. And some of it is artifacts, so it's not going to scan. And we have a lot of stuff. So this grant would allow an expert to come in, basically tell us what kind of equipment we need, what our emergency plan should be, kind of evaluate our circumstance in the building and all that good stuff, and then we can kind of move from there.
that's like Indiana Jones.
I think
They would be
the archives is
interested.
still in the old. It was to purchase some of it too, right?
I think so.
Yeah, to purchase some of the equipment also, to be purchased, and it also shows the value, the value that the community places on the past, because
once the
you get that New York,
students
that's what they look at too, they want that
Someone's got
story
an
and the
internet
interpretation
computer
and the
a
community.
description,
So you
a
need to
picture
value.
attached to it, what kind of item it is. So, yeah, it's a joint
I think is that pretty much?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to go on to, I guess, Cindy, for the Morgan City.
Thanks. Before I start, I did want to mention, I know we're talking about tourism and everything, but when we talk about hidden gems, let's not forget about this school and that marine facility.
they've gotten a lot more notoriety lately. I think that being under SLCC has been, something really beneficial to the school, but I'm on the advisory committee for Young Memorial, so okay.
And the Young Brothers Barn is on this tour.
So, awesome.
So give them clean the front of it up.
Thank you. Okay, so actually, my boss, Mac Wade, has been around to various council meetings, all of the city councils, Will Berwick, Morgan City, the parish council, to give updates on the port. But we did have a stakeholder meeting on Wednesday, and so Monica asked if I'd give just a little brief update about that. I was scared to death. The sky was falling, and I didn't think we'd have anybody there. We ended up with about 35 people in person, plus we had 10, 15 on the phone with us. So, just quickly, we lost McDermott, or they sent out their last project about 2012. And that's when the port started as the non-federal sponsor for Atchafalaya River, Bayou Buff, Black and Shane. We began to see our funding dwindle, and it has really been an uphill battle since 2015 or so to be able to keep the channel open. So our report from New Orleans Corps of Engineers was that we have a clear channel. We are 20 feet out to the Gulf of Mexico from down Bayou Shane, the Atchafalaya River. We are not at the 400-foot width everywhere yet, but we will be. So that will include Bayou Buff, Bayou Black, Bayou Shane, the Atchafalaya River out to the Gulf. We have enough funding, and we have contracts in place where we will have a 20 by 400 foot channel, and we have enough to hold us through for the next couple years. So that's awesome news for our industry. We've worked really hard, and as I said, major uphill battle for us to be able to accomplish that. The other part of this is that Bryce Civil Constructors started working in the bar channel where we have something called fluff. And they have special dredge equipment that was an offshore supply vessel that was converted at Hallamore Shipyard here in Morgan City. And in the first year, they pulled up trash like crazy. They had equipment breakdowns. They managed to get through all of that. Worked with the Corps, improved their technique, and now they are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And in November of 23, they were awarded another 4-year contract by the Corps. So they will be, they have a contract to manage the fluff in the board channel for the next 4 years. Means everything for allowing those deeper draft vessels to come up the channel. So, we had gotten some reports of groundings, and we know we have 20 feet in the channel, so we asked for the Coast Guard and the Corps to kind of take part in some conversation there. We had the Coast Guard aids to navigation and the people that do the buoy tender, the axe, that's stationed at our dock. We had Marine Safety Unit Morgan City, and we had some of the Homeland Coast Guard that attended. And so we discussed what the surveys are used for by the Corps of Engineers, and actually once the Corps does these surveys, they're sent to NOAA. NOAA converts everything for the mariners so that they have the electronic charts that they need. And then of course you have your aids to navigation which are out in the channel, and sometimes those get knocked over by boats or whatever, but what we found was that when there were reports of groundings, it's because the vessels were actually not in the channel. So NOAA and the Corps are supposed to be meeting in the very near future to maybe make sure that those electronic charts are updated more frequently for the mariners. Usually they don't do it unless it's a big change in the channel. So, but we think that, some mariners are just used to following the same path all the time, and that's where the problems have come in. So we're still seeing reluctance by some to use the channel because they remember all of the trash that's been in the channel. They remember the fluff. They just, they're used to going in to Port Fourchon and coming right back out. And so some of them have been a little bit hesitant or, not wanting to come into Morgan City. But we have a company on the GIWW called Patterson Tubular, and they were trucking truckloads of pipe to Port Fourchon to be loaded onto vessels, and along with some other things to go offshore. We all know, especially in the port world, that the more times you handle something, the more costly it is for you to be able to transport the materials where they need to go. So Patterson's actually at their dock in Morgan City loading the pipe. That's excellent in the eyes of their customers, who are the oil companies, who are all being tasked with reducing emissions. So they're taking trucks off the road by loading out of Morgan City. They've taken upon themselves to try to help turn around the people that are not wanting to do business out of Morgan City. But what we did discover through all of this conversation was that they're using the Gulf Intercoastal Waterway. It's being dredged to 12 feet right now because it's mostly barge traffic. But we discovered in that conversation with the Corps that that area is supposed to be authorized at 16 feet. When the Corps dredges, they usually do a couple of extra feet of advanced maintenance to make sure that you maintain the channel. So you may be hearing something soon. We're checking into all of this now for them. We are not the non-federal sponsor for the GIWW, but we want to help the businesses in any way we can, because you have a lot of fabrication yards, you've got, boat construction, they're building dredges, a number of different projects there. They could use those extra few feet of depth to get their projects out. So we're looking at that, and in the meantime, just trying to get out that positive message that we are open for business, and we are business friendly here, as we've all said. So that was, I'm trying to hurry so I don't take up too much of your time, but that was the gist of that meeting. Now, we did talk about getting the positive message out. We have a gentleman that's a reporter for the Waterways Journal, and he's kept track of Bryce's dredge and has come from time to time. We contacted him and said it's time to do a feel-good story here in Morgan City. So we're going to take him out on the boat, tell him the story, and have him put together a nice little feel-good article in the Waterways Journal for us, expressing that we're here and open for business. So that also, I'm sad, Duval, because I won't get to hear y'all at the chamber luncheon, but I am going to be in Shreveport at the Red River Valley Association annual conference, and I'll be leading a panel including Maritime Administration and some of the Red River ports. We are trying to promote the Marine Highway, which is called M49, runs parallel to I-49. And so we did a roundtable in Morgan City in June of 22. And so we're going to follow up on that and do a little panel for that conference to help to promote business on M49. Let's see. We are hosting the QIPRA Region 3 Planning Team meeting on the 30th or the 31st at our office. January, yes. It's either the 30th or the 31st. I can't remember which it is right now. I didn't write it. But, that's why I'm hurrying too, because I've got to get back to the office. We have a call with EPA. They approached us because they want to introduce a project at the planning team meeting that would involve some of the material from the Atchafalaya and some land buildings. So they've been working on it and they want to tell us what they came up with. So that's why I'm trying to rush back. One more thing. Oceanic Network, which was previously known as the Business Network for Offshore Wind, is hosting their international forum in New Orleans in April. And as a part of that conference, they do tours. And so they'll be scheduling some tours. One's going to include Fouchon. They came to Morgan City, and we suggested that we want to do the port dock. Of course, we're under construction right now, so you're not going to see that final product, but we want to let people know what we will have available here. But we're also going to include Intermore and Oceaneering, because both of those companies are involved with offshore wind activity. So I think that's it. And I'm out of breath. Any questions?
Who was the non-federal sponsor of the GIWW?
It's a number of people listed that I can tell. I'm waiting to hear back because this just came up, so I'm waiting for the project manager for the GIWW to get in touch with us. It's not the person that handles our project, but DOTD has listed GICA, Gulf International Canal Association, and who else? In some cases, it's maybe the parishes. In some cases, it might be American Waterway Operators, I think, is what was listed. So I think the various segments of the Intercoastal have different sponsors.
Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome.
That's great. Thank you. Great. I need water.
It's all recorded.
We have some. So Roger was able to show up today. He had somewhere else he was supposed to be, but he was able to make it. So.
Well, thank you. I'm the executive director of Atchafalaya Intercoastal Coalition, better known as AIC. We're finishing up our first year, and we're a non-political industrial group, is what we are. And our membership ended up at 141, which was far above what we ever anticipated. And we thank Excel for allowing us to get involved in the ANER project that many people didn't know a whole lot about, and we now know more about it, and it's a very worthwhile project for this area. One of the things that caught my ear when you was talking about the school and all that, we've just gotten involved in SLCC, and we're kind of jumping in and want to learn more. We're an industrial group, so the students here are, they're involved in industry for the most part. So we're going to get involved and learn more about it with Anthony. We had Dr. Fagenbush in my office. We spoke about it. They were both speakers at one of our meetings here recently. And myself personally will be going to many of the classes and sitting in on all these classes so we can become more intelligent about what is actually provided over here, because all we heard about in the past is the negatives about this school. Oh, they're not doing very much. We got to get more over there. Well, when we finally got involved in it, we found out they're very successful. This is a very successful school, and industry can help. Private entities too, but industry needs to get involved and help even grow it past what it is now. But we should be very proud of what we have here. And that's one of the things that we're going to work on and get involved in and try to move forward. So some of these students, we want to figure out a way where we can, if we've got 5 welders, we want them to come work for welders companies in St. Mary Parish. And I'm glad I said you used the word St. Mary Parish. We're a St. Mary Parish also. We're not Morgan City. We're St. Mary Parish. And we're very proud of the fact that we've accomplished something here, and we've got a lot of members from the West End. The cane industry has become a big group of people, the Patus, and they brought members into our group. We're going to have a speaker about them. The same speaker I think has been at Rotary and Kiwanis, but he's very good at speaking. So that's what we're going to be working on, and helping obviously with the ANER, the support. It's a big project. It's going to take a lot of work, and they've done a great job at it. Hopefully industry can jump in and help and promote it more now. And we hope we can promote the school and any other thing that we may come across. So that's where we're at. Thank you very much.
That QIPRA meeting's on the 31st, y'all.
31st, what time?
9 o'clock, and it lasts for a few hours because all projects are introduced for consideration for the coming year.
Thank you. And thank you, Roger. And Aletha couldn't be here, but Keep St. Mary Parish Beautiful, I'm going to go on with Beth, and I know you probably have the St. Mary cleanup.
Well, it's actually the city that puts together the cleanup day on this end of
Morgan
the
City, yeah,
parish.
'cause that's-
Franklin also has one. The chamber is a member of the chamber's version of Keep St. Mary, well, Keep Louisiana Beautiful. And in the past, about month and a half, we've had 4 businesses join under us in a program initiative that's to basically keep around your businesses clean. So we have signs and such in our office that we'll be distributing to those businesses that have joined, and it's randomly runs through our blast if any other businesses are interested in joining our entities. There's signage to put out, you know, boasting that you're a clean business within the parish, and it was a grant opportunity that we had applied for. We didn't receive the grant, unfortunately, but we are part of that program.
Keep on going with your report.
Okay.
And we are organizing a cleanup too with Vanessa.
Oh, great.
I believe it's in February, correct?
February.
After Mardi Gras.
I'm not sure she got the date
That's
yet.
the Morgan City one, right?
Yeah.
It's on a
Yeah.
Saturday,
The Saturday
the
after
20,
Mardi Gras,
20.
the 17th?
Yeah, somewhere.
Okay.
I'm not sure the date, but we're working on it. The major domino has been sick, so Lee has been down, so we haven't quite got everything together yet.
She's on. She's good. All right, Beth, continue.
As a couple have mentioned, February 21st will be our first luncheon of the year. We call it Leaders in Progress. It is all mayors from the municipalities or some kind of representative from the municipalities. And this year, we're including the sovereign nation of Chittimacha in that as well. I am hoping to have Parish President Jones separately in his own luncheon. That discussion is ongoing. 7th, we'll be hosting with the Bayou Chambers a joint luncheon. Usually happens at Cypress Columns. We usually get about 75 tickets to be able to make available to our membership in the community. That will be Tim Temple, who is the new insurance commissioner for the state. He'll be our guest speaker then, so that should be interesting. On March 20th, we have former Senator Island. He's given his farewell, basically. He wanted to be able to speak at one of our luncheons to address the community.
March what?
March 20th. April is that gap that I'm leaving open right now for Sam Jones, and then May, of course, is when Dr. Roberts will be in Morgan City at the Petroleum Club for the ANER presentation. A recap of some things that we've been working on or have worked on recently. I was able to attend the Workboat Show in New Orleans with a couple others here and our group that partnered together. It was incredible to see. We had a lot of member businesses that were there. I was surprised, I guess, kind of shocked. When you go into that room, it's a showcase of all the best things that these businesses can do. And a lot of the St. Mary businesses, like I said, were showing off, and there's millions and millions of dollars in that room on showcase for people to be able to see and basically shop, business to business. They find out what other businesses offer and what they need, and they can make deals while they're there and on the floor, and they do. Last week, I was invited to a meeting with NASA and I'm trying to remember the name of the other group, the Human Factor. We met with them in Franklin. They are here, or we're here, doing a study on the effects of extreme weather, how it affects industry, business, infrastructure, all of the things. They're partnered together working on some things for that, and they wanted to hear from, they visited so many people throughout the parish, really, and got interesting reviews and information to be able to bring back and continue their research. Last week we hosted our annual banquet where we honored the Business of the Year, which was Bayou Bend, the Wellness Center at Bayou Bend. 2 small businesses. This is the first year that we've included that category. We had a tie. It was Fifole Candles
and KBZE radio station. Citizen of the Year was Senator Isla, Ambassador of the Year was Ms. Bonnie Glenn, and Nonprofit of the Year was SLCC. And we rolled in 3 new board members, so we have 17 total board members for the Chamber of Commerce. Those new members are Crystal Abear with Arc of St. Mary, Holden Murray with the City of Patterson, and JP Henry with Town of Berwick. Leadership starts next month, where I'm planning that right now. We have 12 field trips scheduled, 1 each month generally, and this year we'll be including a service day, hopefully in connection with the Purple Lemon, where the members, the participants are able to go and help out with their food pantry and things like that, learn about what they do. After Mardi Gras, will be starting 100 visits in 100 days, where I visit 100 of our members in that 100-day time frame. We have roughly 460 members currently, and we're trying to grow that number. This year, we are really striving to appeal to small businesses and make things look a bit easier for them to join, whether it be breaking down that membership, just to where it's easier for them to be able to sign up. And in this last month of January, we have had 8 new businesses join, majority of them being small businesses, so that's something that we're very proud of. We do have quite a few ribbon cuttings coming up. If you are registered for our news blast, you'll get that in there, and also follow us on social media. You'll see it on Facebook and on Instagram. We are currently learning new software. It's software built specifically for organizations like ours, and we finish our onboarding sometime mid-March, and hopefully we'll be rolling it out sometime during the summer. A lot of other chambers around us use it, and it is basically to streamline our work and make things a bit easier and more efficient in the office. And it'll also be more interactive with our membership. People will be able to create an account and log in, and everything will be able to happen from that hub. You can register for events, you can volunteer, you can try to get on different boards and committees through the hub, and of course share your own information. We'll have job listings posted there, which is something that we're really looking forward to including more of. And looking at my notes, I just want to, I guess on closing, inform you, if you don't already know, most of you do. I know there's been confusion in the past. Some municipalities that I've talked to were unaware. The Chamber of Commerce is not under the parish. We are a standalone entity. We are a 501c6, which is not the good kind of nonprofit. So any events that you see that we host, our annual membership, we of course depend on that, but the events are really what bolster our budget through the year. I have 4 employees, including myself, 2 full-time, 2 part-time. One manages the office in Franklin, my finance director, my executive assistant, and myself. And of course, we have offices to run, one of which is not paid for. We're still making payments on our building. So if you see those events, please do your best to support them. Most in these rooms do, and I thank y'all for that support and the partnership. Thank you, Beth. And it was an excellent event, by the way, the banquet.
Beth, for y'all's service day for leadership,
Mhm.
do you have like a directory of X, or I guess leadership alumnus that you could send it out to?
I absolutely can.
Send out
I'm
the-
sorry, I keep going.
Good to have a chance to meet people that are
I didn't
here.
realize you just.
And then Carrie?
All right. I'm starting jotting things down. I've got a hot mess here. So obviously Mardi Gras coming up. We have some brochures. With the rain, we haven't had a chance to get those out. But we have them in the office. We'll get those out. We have a new website. That's the biggest thing. We have a new website. And talking about, one of the challenges we have is people will tag us on Facebook, and then you go to look for the event on Facebook, and it takes you 30 minutes to find the tag of the event. So on our website, you can click and add your event. If you go to cajuncoast.com, activities, calendar, add your event, you can put pictures. if you are out taking pictures, we need vertical pictures, not horizontal, for some of the things that we need. We have access to things with the state, but again, it'll take you 20 minutes, 30 minutes to find good photography. So if you have an event, you take a picture with your phone, you know, go ahead and make sure you put it on our website that we can download it so that we can integrate our photography into some of these events. So that's the big thing. And hopefully you can, when you click on our calendar, it'll be like the block for the whole month, the 30 days, or you can have it listed as well. So that's a great new feature. And once you list the event, it comes to us and we can click whether it's acceptable or not. We try to promote everything, but there's some events that don't really meet the criteria for tourism or community. You know, so anyway, we have that capability on that. Of course, Mardi Gras, Eagle Expo, we're hosting that again this year. It's going to be February 22nd to 24th. Kelly, if you all, so we, as part of that, we hire a group called Wings to Soar. We have a grant from BetNet, and we're going to go to, we go to 4 junior highs, Morgan City Junior, Patterson, Franklin Junior, and Berwick Junior. We also do one that's open to the public, for the community, and one for private school and homeschooled kids. As part of that, you are welcome, if you have any information that you would like to hand out. I agree with you, Mike. I lived next door to Lumcon for years, and I'm embarrassed that I didn't go and do more when I was a teenager at Lumcon, but I was not exposed to it. It was just sort of there. But today I'm embarrassed that I wish I'd have known more about that. Next week, we hired a company by the name of Huddle Up to evaluate all of our sporting facilities. They are going to do their report next week at 8 a.m. On Wednesday. And so basically they just come in, they have a sports index. They evaluate all of our facilities. They came in, they did a tour. They're going to hit some more when they come in. And
Is that going to be at the Hampton again?
at the Hampton at 8 a.m. on Wednesday. It's the same day as Cindy's meeting. But we would love to have you. It doesn't last very long. It's going to be about an hour. And then I've asked them to sort of evaluate, you know, Morgan City, Franklin. Right now, you know, Kimber Williams Park is probably one of the biggest things that they're recommending, but I also made sure that they, you know, do East-West, that they make sure that they evaluate and make recommendations for each of that. The National Heritage Program, Atchafalaya National Heritage Program. The city of Morgan City has done a great job with tapping into some of their programming. They're also doing a lot of different things like technical, like say you wanted to figure something out. I know that they're working with Baldwin on some playground and access to the Atchafalaya Basin. They had some things that had been outdated. Playground areas, they're working on some technical stuff that you might not have anybody on staff. Like, this is what we want to do, but we have no clue how to start or how to get there. Those are some of the things that they're doing. Their grant program is going to, they're waiting to see if they're going to get their funding. But there's 2 different funding programs that they have, and that will be in May. So get your ideas together. I get across different ideas for grants. Some of you probably do. I try to send those out when we do, but you can't get a grant unless you have a plan on that. We partnered with Dat Sauce. They participated in November, I think it was. I get my dates. The World Food Championship in Dallas. We partnered with them, and we're hoping to do something more. We're hoping to partner with Scott Moore. I did talk to Vanessa. I talked to Scott and Bridget about how can we work with Young Memorial or SLCC and all of the culinary schools to host something. I don't know what that would even look like, but, you know, we're sort of throwing that idea out. Scott has some ideas. Work maybe with Nichols on that as well, but that's something in the future that we're looking at. Job, since Charlie poached my employee. I'm happy. It was a great move for her. It's a great move for the city of Morgan City. It's just a pain in my behind to try to find somebody. But she's doing a great job, and she will do a great job. But we are looking for somebody. I just put the job description out there. We're going to sort of consolidate. We're going to do some marketing and sales on that. So anyway, that's open as of today. So if you know anybody that has some sports and some marketing experience, send the resume to Cajun Coast, ccarter@cajuncoast.com. I'm trying to think what else. I did work with NASA on the human factor. And that's an interesting program because it does. I mean, you think about, like in Chauvin, Cocodrie, how the hurricanes are affecting our culture. People are not moving back.
I mean, they really got to see it firsthand because they were here for the freeze. So a lot of the business owners they talked to were closed for the day.
And like our building, the insurance was $93,000. We had it this year, but who's to say, you know, we'll have it the next year? And is that it is expensive. I'm trying to think what else. Beth, you know, at the Atchafalaya meeting that we had, Caroline, who's from this area, she's going to a placemaking economic development thing. It's going to be in March 3rd through the 6th. I love that idea because we have a lot of cottage industries in our community that we can, I don't know if they want to elevate. I don't know what their needs are, but you know, I see all these cheesecake people and these cookie people and these bread people, and I know that G&J has done a fabulous job of elevating these people, but you know, is this something that we can do? Also, a shared economy. That's a big thing in small communities where where they share electricity and insurance and all of those things that they need to make a profit. I think those would be some interesting things that we should explore. I don't even know how to do that. That's not my wheelhouse, but since we're bringing that up from a cultural economy, attractions and food ways, those are products that we need to promote tourism and how we can elevate these people. I don't know. I mean, I see them on Facebook, but then when I go to find it, I'm like, oh, I can't remember the name of that. I tried to do a screenshot. I don't know who these people are. But I would like to have a list, an inventory of, you know, like when we have guests or like photojournalists, we had some German photojournalists in. I had some that sauce, I gave it to them. But I love giving those food products that we can put our little logo on that. So anyway, those are a couple of things. Mike, I love the idea of what y'all did with the levy and with the school system. On the education. One thing it did help us, you know, with Rotary, we had a grant to try to get the kids into the Atchafalaya Basin, and the school board kind of dragged their feet, but now we did get an email saying that as long as the tour operator had insurance, they would allow the students to go. So that's a big thing. And Wildlife and Fisheries did say they do have boats. So if we want, we can secure those boats to get maybe some of those those students into the basin to see what they need to protect and love, like we do. I think that's it.
Yeah, our leadership class went on a tour with the port this year for Environmental Day, and that was one of their favorite days.
Oh, and if we can do a group tour, like if we can put a package together to sell that, you know, it's going to be something you would know well in advance. It's not going to be, oh, I have this group in the office and they want to go and hear about the levy system. This would be something that we could possibly package. But it would be a great cultural package that we could put together on that. Oh yeah, we worked with them.
I gotta stand up. To talk, I'm like, And I want to get a card from Laura before she leaves too. Business card, you have one? I can get a business card?
Oh, yeah, I think, maybe.
I can pass on your information if you want.
Yeah,
Okay. All
I
right.
mean, I have it, but.
So anyway,
It's
yeah,
the
we
old
did.
cards, it's not the new cards, nothing.
We went to the workboat and underwater intervention show with the chamber and with the Cajun Coast and SLCC and Oldfield Divers Monument. And it was, I think, a very good program for us, a lot of contacts and things. And as Roger said, this school here is kind of under-recognized. The diving school here at SLCC is one of the few left in the United States. And the local diving companies are constantly after these guys looking for divers. So there is a shortage of divers. The diving industry is fairly
We've
healthy.
heard that a lot.
Yeah, so they are looking for these
We could have
guys.
hired 200 divers at that show.
Yeah.
We'd have had them.
Hired
Yeah.
them out. Businesses were looking.
So we have
Hey, have they
the
been
oil.
reaching out to the high schools? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Pardon?
Have y'all been reaching out to the high schools? Like the local high schools?
We have not, but I don't know if SLCC
I mean,
is,
I think it's, again, it's an exposure thing. These kids haven't.
yeah.
We're gonna try
told
to
me
do
that
some
they
kind
did right
of job
here.
fair partnership with SLCC to kind of showcase what programs they do offer, because none
Yeah.
of the dive program, the maritime
Yeah, so we
programs are not.
we have
well
some ideas along that we needed to, SLCC has been doing a pretty poor job of advertising themselves. So this was one of the ways we did it, by dragging them to the school, over to the show with us. So, you know that we formed a project management group and we built Bob, the statue of the Oldfield Divers Monument. We had some money left over, and I'm really excited about this. So we were able to, this year, give 3 $1,000 scholarships to SLCC for the diving program. We also had $20,000 left over, so we started an endowment fund. And if you give to the endowment fund in $20,000 lumps, the state will match the funds. That's why I wanted to talk to her, so I can get to Robert, because get him to make sure that they know they've never really been turned down, but I want to make sure. So that would be a $40,000 endowment fund for the diving school here. We also have $10,000 left over, and we're trying to raise another 10 when we have our diver rally this year, like we had the unveiling last year at the end of April. We hope to raise another $10,000, so we'll have another 20 to give to the school, so they'll have an $80,000 endowment fund for the diving school. So we're really stoked about that. The other thing that happened was there is a society called the Diving Historical Society out of Santa Barbara. Pretty high rolling place out there. They also have an office in London, and they give out awards. And one of the awards they give is the Nick Icon Diving Heritage Award. And this year they presented that award to the project management team that built Bob. And we were very honored to have Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser come to the workboat show and present the project management team with a very nice little
Crystal plaque.
plaque. That's the word I'm looking for. So that's it. I just wanted to give you a little rundown, and I'll let Virgil talk about the Mr. Charlie.
Right now, we're in the process, hopefully the finishing of the process of being nominated as a National Historic Landmark for the Mr. Charlie itself. So I'm waiting to hear back from the National Park Service at what point in time do we need letters of support for this nomination. And once we get that date, we'll be getting back with everyone here to get letters of support for the nomination. So that'll be a good thing for the Mr. Charlie. It also will coincide with the 70th birthday of the Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie was delivered to Otico June 15th, 1954. So 70 years old. And it is showing signs of the age. So we're doing some work on it to get some refurbishment done in the quarters. Then we'll be doing some deck repairs and replacement, some painting. So if you have any workers that have community service work they have to do, we're a good spot to come put that community service work. So, especially if they have a good trade like welders. So, and then We're also working with a maritime high school, residency maritime high school concept, and which would be a maritime pathway for junior and senior years of high school. And we're working on that concept, so some of you will be tapped for some information, and already have been. So, thank you.
Okay, but that high school is completely different from what we've been talking about, I think, right? Monica?
It's not a Louisiana, ours is a Louisiana accredited residential,
Yeah.
go through Desi, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah,
It
this is
models
different,
and
it's
that.
not the same thing.
Going back to the lighting thing, do overall about the bridges. You know, I think it's very impressive when you go into a city or town and you cross bridges and you see all kind of lights and stuff. And, you know, street lights, and I think that's all important into knowing that you live in a safe place, well lit, that kind of stuff. Has anybody ever reached out to CLECO? And I don't know, Morgan City does your own electricity. Is it Sleepa that helps y'all? I mean, where do you get your electricity from?
We're part of LECO.
Legal, yeah.
Okay, but reaching out to those people, if they would be interested in partnering to do some of that.
CLECO does a lot of funding. So
Yeah, you know, I mean, does that make sense to y'all? Yeah, you know, where they could really improve the lighting system as far as our town, street lights, bridge lights, you know, because I think it's very impressive when you go into a place and it's well lit at night. It's like it's a welcoming atmosphere, it's that kind of stuff. So
Sounds like you're
yeah, I mean, it's just something to throw out there that, you know, maybe we could touch base with CLECO, because they have a big area. Yeah, you know, they got to have some.
Willie Badgeron's called me, he calls me every year about anything that they would like for them to donate. So that's something, I'm glad you brought that up. That's something I can.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I just.
We can have the grand lighting, because the bridges could take forever to paint. So when we're, in the evening, when we're sitting there
Right.
in our tuxedos and evening gowns on the bridge,
Right.
we can turn the lights on.
Right, that's
Yes. Thank y'all so much for coming and sharing your ideas. And if you have anything, we're going to have another meeting, a local interest group meeting in about 3 months. But if there's anything that you are ready to share ahead of time, or you want us to put into that meeting, or like, you know, Colleen, we
Like
talked
an
about the
agenda
bridge.
item.
Anything, we can always put a picture up here or
One thing
whatever.
I want to say, and I'm probably preaching to the choir, but the other day, I got in an argument with somebody about restaurants in Houma, and it's like, who all goes eat in Houma? Everybody here. Oh, you still recording? But I mean, you go, you know, everybody's like, oh, Houma got more stuff. And I'm like, what do you eat at home? Well, I eat at Zen. I'm like, well, are you mad because we don't have Zen? Or are you mad because we don't have choices? The only way you go is Zen. And we started looking at it, and you looking at the restaurants, pound for pound, we have more restaurants in St. Mary Parish than Houma does.
And they're mostly mom and pop. brick and
Yeah,
mortar,
and it's like, you know, we don't have Chili's and we don't have Zen.
I have a restaurant, every menu
And it's,
of St. Mary Parish except for fast food on our website. You can download all the menus.
and I know,
It's a book.
y'all Facebook people do take our back on that, you know, about, hey, shop local, but it's like, just change the conversation when people start downgrading the restaurant, just change it. Like, hey, I mean, Stazione's got the best shrimp po' boy since Lisa's closed down. I mean, it's like Lisa's po' boy. I mean, you know, it's.
Right, we have a video of Stazione, it was, the state did it. Did you see it?
Yeah, they like Dale more than me.
You got cut?
They use me just a little
You did
snippet.
get, yeah.
I think, and it's so good to
That's a
hear
great
all good
idea.
ideas, and everybody works together very well if they're together. And I think that, like, we have this, it's just every 3 months, but when we talked about coordinating, possibly, y'all talked about the markets and the dates and those things, y'all all work together and you talk to each other. Maybe that's the breakout session that needs to happen in between these meetings when we're all coming together, because we can't do that planning in the next hour here, but possibly y'all, I mean, I know you're so busy, you know, the things that y'all do, have that meeting, plan it, get people to come to it.
We'll be starting the Local Never Looks So Good campaign, which was the people on our directories this past year, and it's really going to be pushing local food into
Well, one of the things that a lot of people now are gonna start going to Homa for movies, because we don't have the movie theater anymore, so they're gonna be going over there, going to a movie and going to eat possibly. So it's gonna hurt us in that respect, you know.
I'm sure they'll just wait the 2 weeks and it'll come out once a month.
I just wanted to add
I'm shopping.
I was shopping.
I wouldn't have eaten one
We only go to that, and that's like, you know.
You gotta just say it, Jacob.
I instinctively said that I was with Edward Jones, because that's why I always introduce myself, but I'm also, I guess, here more representing Morgan City Rotary Club as the secretary and past president of the club as well, so from a civic standpoint. And to that point, actually, we are kind of going through a reassessment of the long-term plans with Rotary, and part of that will be some of the finances that we have. So things like the scholarship program, where the endowment that gets matched, which we're still trying to get more information on that. So if you get more information, Bryce, if you don't mind sharing that, that'd be great, because we understand to be a bit more competitive. There's almost implied that it's like a guarantee, and I don't think it's a guarantee that they're going to match the 20,000. It's a competitive program, I believe, but nonetheless, we have some money that we might be interested in doing things like that with, as well as some sustainable projects that, you know, we build something, we partner maybe with the cities to do something, and then the city takes over that project going forward, because we have some finances for those things as well. So if you're interested, or you have something that you think we might be able to help you with, please let myself know, or Carrie, who's also in Rotary as well.
Thank you so much. And Greg, thank you, Greg, too. Greg has volunteered his services. He is on St. Mary Excel's board, and we appreciate it.